All right, welcome. Today we're diving deep into the 26th chapter of the Lotus Sutra. And this is a chapter that's just jam-packed with some seriously powerful promises and mystical protection. So let's just jump right in with a really big question. If you pour your heart and soul into a sacred text, is anyone out there looking out for you? Well, this chapter of the Lotus Sutra tackles that exact idea, this incredible link between devotion and, well, divine protection. And the answer it gives is pretty amazing.
Now, to really get why all these powerful beings are lining up to offer protection, we first have to understand what it is they're protecting. And that's the unbelievable, almost mind-boggling value that comes from simply upholding the Lotus Sutra.
It all kicks off with this one question. The great Bodhisattva, Medicine King, goes to the Buddha and asks something pretty direct. Hey, what kind of good fortune, what kind of merit does a person get if they accept and follow this teaching? And the answer he gets, well, it's on another level.
The Buddha's response is just, wow. He basically says that the merit you gain isn't just a little bit, it's immense. Even if all you can do is take in one single four-line stanza, really understand it and try to live by it, the positive spiritual reward is immeasurable.
Okay, but let's be real. Immeasurable is one of those words we hear a lot in spiritual texts. What does it actually mean in this case? The Buddha knows this is a tough concept to wrap your head around, so he gives a comparison to really drive the point home.
He asks Medicine King to imagine making offerings to a number of Buddhas equal to the grains of sand in millions upon millions of Ganges rivers. I mean, just look at that number on the screen. It's so big it's practically meaningless to us. And here's the kicker. The Buddha says the merit from upholding just a tiny piece of the Lotus Sutra is even greater than that. So you can imagine, when there's merit on that kind of cosmic scale, it doesn't go unnoticed. It's like a giant spiritual beacon goes off. And suddenly this whole assembly of powerful celestial beings, we're talking bodhisattvas, heavenly kings, they all stand up, one after another, to make a promise to protect anyone who follows this teaching.
And how are they going to do this? They offer what are called dharanis. Now, think of a dharani as more than just a prayer or a chant. It's like a mystical formula, a sacred sequence of sounds that is believed to hold real, tangible protective power.
And who's first in line? Well, of course, it's Medicine King himself, the one who started this whole conversation. He offers a dharani and says it's been spoken by Buddhas as countless as the sands of 62 million Ganges rivers. And he makes a point that's crystal clear. To harm a teacher of this sutra is the same as harming all of those Buddhas.
Then we've got the Bodhisattva named Brave Giver stepping up to the plate. He offers his own dharani, and this one is like a spiritual shield. It's specifically designed to protect practitioners from all sorts of troublemakers. You know, demons, hungry ghosts, any kind of dark force that might try to interfere.
And then a real heavy hitter shows up. Vaishravana, one of the great heavenly kings, a guardian of the entire world. He doesn't just offer a mantra, he makes a personal guarantee. He promises to create a huge safe zone, we're talking hundreds of miles wide, around any practitioner, keeping them completely free from harm.
The momentum just keeps building. He's followed by another of the great heavenly kings, Dhritarashtra, who leads these celestial musicians. He shows up with his massive entourage and adds his own divine mantra to the mix, vowing to throw his power behind the protection of the sutra's followers.
Okay, so we've had bodhisattvas, we've had heavenly kings, but all of that was just the warm-up. Now we get to the real climax of the chapter, and trust me, this is where the promises of protection get personal and the warnings get really intense. So get this, a group of 10 Rakshasi women, and you gotta understand these are powerful, often fearsome female spirits or demonesses. They come before the Buddha, and just listen to their names: Crooked Teeth, Insatiable, and my personal favorite, Stealer of the Vital Spirit of all beings. I mean, these are not figures you'd ever want to cross. They show up with the ghost mother and all their children to make a promise together.
And their vow is just unbelievable. They basically say, look, we would rather have someone literally climb up and stand on our heads, the ultimate sign of disrespect and harm, than stand by and let anyone bother a teacher of this Dharma. That is a shocking level of commitment.
And if you thought their vow was intense, just listen to their warning. This isn't some polite request. It is a stone-cold promise of retribution. They say that if anyone ignores their protective spell and messes with a preacher of the Dharma, their head will be shattered into 7 pieces. They are not playing around.
So after this incredible series of vows, from bodhisattvas, from kings, and even from these fierce demonesses, the chapter wraps up with the Buddha giving his final resounding seal of approval, which really cements this entire promise of protection.
The Buddha praises them all, but he gives a special shout-out to the Rakshasi women. He tells them, "Excellent! Just by protecting someone who even upholds the name of the Lotus Sutra, the good fortune you gain will be beyond measure." Do you see what's happening here? It creates this perfect, virtuous circle. By protecting the practitioners who are gaining merit, the protectors themselves gain immeasurable merit. And that, right there, is the heart of this entire chapter. The ultimate takeaway is that the spiritual path, according to this text, is not a lonely one, not by a long shot. It teaches that anyone dedicated to it is watched over by this vast, unseen assembly of guardians who are compassionate, powerful, and fiercely protective.
And so that leaves us with a final question to really think about. In our own lives, in a world that can often feel chaotic and uncertain, what does this ancient promise of a powerful, benevolent support system really mean for us? What inspiration can we draw from the idea that our sincere efforts are never unseen, but are, in fact, divinely protected?